All right, so everybody that's listening to us, if you're on one of the podcasting sites, subscribe, share. I'm talking too fast, so I'm fumbling over my words. But regardless of that, if you're listening to us on the radio, we appreciate that. Tell your family, your friends on whatever station you're listening to, so they can listen into our great interviews in general. So we appreciate that also. We have Dr. Mike Traurig here on the program here. He's going to be speaking about a COVID vaccine issue that he had. I say injury, and I'm going to say it. I know that's for some people, it's like Kabuki theater, doc, to even say this stuff, but it's really what's going on in the country and around the world. And I'm grateful for you, Mike, to come on and tell your story. So thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
So let's kick this around. As a person also that's vaccine injured, I've been through the ring. I started out in Florida in 2021. My started out in March, and then obviously the second shot in April. And went up to Rhode Island, and it was like going into some kind of mental institution because no one believed me. You would go and see these doctors, and they went right for the antidepressant pills and the anxiety pills. And if you take these and get addicted to these, you'll be free as a bird. And get your third booster shot too. Don't forget that. How were you treated before we even get into the injury in general in South Carolina?
I was some of the doctors. I saw multiple doctors, so
Right.
some of them were, um, most of them were pretty reasonable about what we were trying to get at. They didn't know what we were trying to get at, and as I brought it up and we went through the testing, nobody could explain why.
Right. So
So
just go, yeah,
nobody
go ahead.
poo-pooed it for the most part, but they weren't convinced it was the vaccine either.
Okay. Now
But
you
then they
are a
couldn't explain it.
right. I've heard of a lot of people, even myself included, that were doing the regular blood tests. Nothing showed up. EKGs, echocardiograms, nothing would show up. Then we did the cytokine 14 blood tests, which measure your interleukins, the VEGF, vascular inflammation rather. And that's when everything showed up for me. Did you go into any of those
I,
tests? So, go
I
ahead.
didn't do any of the blood work. My whole reaction is all neurologic,
Okay.
and the nerve studies all showed what it showed a big issue, but it didn't show exactly what was causing it.
When we speak about neurological issues, can you go a little bit deeper into what you're
Sure.
going through? Okay,
Well, I need to back the bus up, start from scratch.
sure thing.
I retired December of 2019 because of ongoing back issues and multiple back surgeries prior to that. So my neurosurgeon, pain management doctor, they all knew me and knew what was going on. Like you did, March of 2021, I had my first shot. Within a couple of weeks, I started having symptoms. April, first week of April or so, I had my second shot. And by the middle of the month, I was in the pain management office. And what was happening was I was getting a neurologic, I call it an electric jolt going down my leg that would cause my knee to buckle and I would fall.
Wow.
And it was mostly on my right side, which is my bad side to begin with. So I went to the pain management. He couldn't explain it. He had no idea what was going on or why it was. I didn't put one and one together that it was the vaccine
Mhm.
until the summertime. Because once he couldn't figure it out, I went to see the neurosurgeon. We did all the testing again and nothing showed up. And then I said, well, why don't we do nerve conduction studies? Let's see what that shows. And at least we had something to compare it to because I had them done 3, 4 years prior. So we did that July of 2021, which showed um, severe nerve degeneration
Mhm.
bilaterally, acutely. It also showed the chronic problem I had with my back, but said it had gotten much worse and it was also an acute issue. So something happened. I had no trauma. There's nothing to explain that. And it was acute and bilateral. And we only did the legs and the lumbar area in the back. No, we never did the upper part because I've never had any symptoms higher up. And to this day, I still have symptoms.
You know.
And a year later, I said, let's repeat them because I wasn't getting anywhere. And the nerve conduction studies were exactly the same as the prior year. And nobody can explain to me why there's an acute process still going on a year later.
So I
So,
just go ahead, Doc.
and, and then I went for my yearly checkup about 6 months or so ago with the neurosurgeon who we talked about IVIG and doing it that way. And I had done my research on it and said, okay, what about trying this? And she had brought it up first. And then I started looking into it and I found a doctor down in Charleston who wanted me to go on a high dose steroid course first before I could qualify for IVIG. And I refused to do that.
So,
So
so yeah. So where are you at right now then?
physically or medically?
Yeah. Well, both. And I'm not for people that are listening and
I'm
not
in Greenville,
watching.
South Carolina.
For people that are listening and not watching, I'm physically, I'm saying like, how are you feeling? You know, are you still? I know you say you're still suffering from those issues, but have they gotten any better, or are they still about the same from when you got the vaccine?
I still suffer from them. It's also now spread into the other leg.
Wow.
And it's not as frequent. I could count on one hand how many times it's happened on the other leg, but it happens. There's no rhyme or reason as to when it happens. It could happen 4 or 5 times in an hour, or it may not happen for weeks on end.
So, so
So
I want to jump into this, Doc. So, how are you getting around if you're worried about when you could just buckle on whether, regardless of one side or the other, and
uh,
you could break a hip for that matter, you could break a leg, you could do anything with this.
exactly.
Are you going
I,
around in a wheelchair with a walker? How are you getting around?
I'm using a cane right now,
Yeah.
and that just it gives me something to lean on. So when it happens, I just lean on that and hopefully not go over.
Wow. Yeah, and I want to just explain this because we have a lot of people listening that do not believe this is happening to people, and that's why we're doing a lot of these stories. Again, people have lives. They're not
Yes,
telling these stories for kicks and because they
correct.
have nothing going on in their lives. I think you would rather be doing anything else better than suffering from what you're suffering. And it's really sad that, we have people that don't believe this is going on. We still have doctors that don't agree with this. They just go with long COVID, long COVID. I personally went to a doctor a couple of days back, neurologist, and he was okay. I've seen worse, but he
Yeah.
said, you probably got some kind of long COVID thing. And I had a doctor that actually wrote on my paperwork. He said it was 2 weeks after the Moderna vaccine, and they go right to long COVID. So, going to South Carolina, it seems like you said you didn't really have any doctors that discounted you from the beginning then,
No, because they knew me from my
from your practice then.
chronic, well, from that and from my chronic back issues that I've been seeing them
Okay.
for all along. But this is something that's totally
No.
separate. The symptoms are separate. It's a different issue.
Mhm.
And then until somebody can explain to me these nerve conduction studies, there's nothing else that explains it.
Now, Doc, I keep talking to a lot of these people that are vaccine injured, and even myself personally, and it seems like it all goes back to an issue with either dysautonomia, or nervous system issues in general. For everybody, they might have different symptoms. Some people might have similar symptoms, but it all goes back to that nervous system in general, dysautonomia. Are you seeing that with the people that you speak with also?
I haven't really spoke with a whole lot of people.
Okay.
Being that I'm retired, I never knew
Yeah.
about a lot of this stuff until Twitter opened up and I found React 19. Sorry,
No, no,
I just
you're
kind of kept to myself. I knew this was a vaccine injury.
how does your family and your friends feel about this when you talk to them about it, or you just never talk to them in general about
Oh no, my wife and I, she's
it?
seen it.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
So she knows and my kids know and they understand. My youngest daughter's a nurse. She had to have all of the vaccines and she's fine. And I told her no more. My oldest daughter, I think, had 3 of them and I told her no more. And my wife has had 3 and I told her no more. So they're on board with me. They understand. They've seen it. So they know.
Now, what kind of doctor were you before you retired?
I originally trained in internal medicine.
Okay.
And then I went on and did some vascular medicine and did varicose veins for almost 20 years.
Wow. Now, the
And
only symptoms you're having is the issue with your back and your leg, correct?
correct.
Okay. No, like vertigo, or because I'm hearing a lot of that stuff too. No.
No.
Wow. Okay. Um, because the main things that I'm hearing from people is that there's the neurological issues as you have and I have too. I hear a lot of people with vertigo and the vascular inflammation and stuff like that. In general, are you in the same thought process as I am? That again, it goes back to like the inflammation and the nervous system.
Absolutely. In doing some of my research, because I didn't know what else to do to look for this
Right.
and to find stuff out, the studies have all shown that those with underlying neurologic issues that have received the vaccine, it has made the symptoms worse.
Yeah.
So that just kind of put the nail in the coffin there for me.
Yeah. Well, personally, I was a guy that always worked out. I played sports in high school and college, worked out after college, 34 years old. Now I have vertigo all day, every day. And
Yeah, it's not fun.
yeah, pain in my trap muscle. I can't lift weights above my head. And, I have neuropathy in my feet, 34 years old. I'm grateful that those are the only issues. And I know people that have had kids that have died, people that have kids that are bedridden. So I'm grateful I can still somewhat
I,
go on with my life. But it's really sad because a lot of people were healthy before this and did work like you did, Doc.
yeah, but I retired before all
Right,
this COVID stuff. That was the one
right.
thing I
But
had good timing with.
yeah, but I'm sure you were still a pretty active guy, regardless of being retired in general and stuff.
I was pretty active, but I was very limited due to the
Yeah, with
back
the
issues.
right, the back issue.
So I'm not out playing golf,
Right.
but I keep busy. I go about and I do what I can do,
Yeah.
and I just do it carefully. And now I've just gotten to a point where I just don't see anything left to do or where to turn to go down another rabbit hole with this. So
Yeah.
I just put it out of my mind and go about my business.
Do you have any hope that your situation will eventually be resolved, or like you as you just stated, you're just kind of done with it then?
With the vaccine issue, I'm kind of done with it unless something magical appears. And the back issue, I've been told, live with it.
Yeah.
So, you just get to a point where, okay, have a nice day. And either you go live with it or you sit on the internet and complain about it. So I've chosen to live with it and go about my business.
Leave the audience with some hope about maybe a
It,
cure, maybe not. I know we're not God, and we're not going to
I'm not
promise to
privy to
be
any
good.
of that information, but there's a lot of research going on, and you don't give up hope. Keep fighting for yourself. Keep
Yeah.
pushing. There are people out there like you, and I'm finding there are people like me, and that gives me hope.
Yeah, I would hope people and to end this interview with this, I would hope people go out there, write your senators, write your congressmen, write your governors, write your elected officials, even if they're in state government, state senator, state house person, and push them. Say, I'm vaccine injured. Tell them your story. Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, has been fighting the good fight on Capitol Hill for the people that have been suffering from vaccine injured. He told a friend of mine, said, we're not hearing from these people in Congress. Said, I asked my, former congressmen, other senators, he said, I speak to them and no one's writing to any of these other people.
People are afraid to speak up.
Well, it's your life, it's your health. You need to stand up.
I get it. But this is the first I'm hearing about this too.
Yeah.
So people don't know to contact their elected officials about this.
Right. So, well,
to get it out there, let's go.
I'm talking to anybody that's listening. Everybody has a family member, a friend that has been affected by this crisis. And I'm just saying, if you're listening to this, please write your senator, your congressperson. Hell, write the president of the United States. He's not going to do nothing, but at least it'll be documented.
Amen.
And write your governors and your state senate, state house guys. Let's get something done. Let's try to change the tide here for this country. It's going to hell in a handbasket, and let's try to change this. So, Doc, thanks so much. Where can people follow you? Do you have, I know you said you go on Twitter and stuff. Any kind of social media that you want to give out to the people listening?
Just personal Facebook page. I'm not really on, I was on Twitter and I got too political.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it goes.
They can just find me at Michael Traurig, South Carolina.
Traurig on Facebook in South Carolina. All right, again, Michael Traurig here on Firebreathinrob, former medical doctor here, just telling his story about what happened to him, what is still going on due to the COVID vaccine. Doc, thanks so much for coming on. This will not be our last conversation. I'm sure of that, and we'll speak again soon.
Thanks for everything.
I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and here's why. This isn't about gimmicks or sentiment or what commercial I like. This is about facts. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Millions of doses have already been given in the United States, and these vaccines have the most intensive safety monitoring in U.S. history. People from different races, ages, genders, and ethnicities participated in large clinical trials around the world to make sure this vaccine worked for all kinds of people. The amount of time and effort dedicated to developing these vaccines was huge. Scientists used existing research and technology so they could get the vaccines developed quickly and safely without skipping any steps. If you need any more information, use a reliable source like the CDC website to get the facts.